mean, this is truly a dream come true for me to walk into this role, to work alongside Kelly Krauskopf and Stephanie White on the basketball side in the tremendous business in the WNBA, and obviously led by the Indiana Fever. But I think all those experiences will lend themselves to hopefully doing the best job possible here.
You won't believe who the Indiana Fever just cut from their roster. These players were supposed to be the future of the franchise, but now they're gone, just like that. What's going on behind the scenes in Indiana? Is this a total rebuild or a huge mistake? Let's break down this shocking move.
The number one priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe in history in the second half of
and what it means for the Fever's future. You know what's wild? The Fever just dropped some serious names from their roster. Let's talk about who's packing their bags and why this is shaking up the whole league. Picture this. The locker room's tense. Players are glued to their phones, scrolling through social media, wondering if they're next on the chopping block. The coach calls a team meeting, and you can practically hear everyone's heart racing. Who's staying? Who's going? It's like a high-stakes game of musical chairs, but instead of losing a seat, you're losing your spot on the team. Let's break it down player by player. First up, NaLyssa Smith. Remember when she dropped that monster double-double against the Mystics last season? She was on fire, grabbing rebounds left and right, scoring like it was nothing. But here's the thing, her stats lately? Not great. Her shooting percentage has taken a nosedive, and her defensive impact just isn't what it used to be. You're probably thinking, no way they'd cut NaLyssa. Well, guess what? The Fever shocked everyone by letting her go. But that's not all. They also said goodbye to Kelsey Mitchell, their leading scorer from last season. Mitchell's been a staple of the Fever's offense for years, but her efficiency has been dropping and her turnovers have been creeping up. But hold up, we're just getting started. You won't believe who else is on the line. Aaliyah Boston, last year's Rookie of the Year, is rumored to be on the trading block. The Fever are apparently fielding calls from other teams trying to gauge her value. It's like they're cleaning house. And no one's safe. This isn't just a few tweaks to the roster. The Fever are taking a wrecking ball to their lineup. It's a bold move, and fans are split. Some are furious, saying the team's throwing away their future.
Being in the WNBA since 2005, I've seen a lot. So the growth through the years, we've learned a lot. I think we're obviously at this very pivotal time.
Others are excited, hoping this means big changes and maybe even a superstar signing. The Fever's chess game just got more complicated. You think releasing veteran players was a shock? Wait until you hear about the rookie who's forcing the entire league to rethink their strategies. Caitlin Clark isn't just good, she's making history. And it's putting the Fever in a situation no one could have predicted. Remember when Clark first joined the Fever? Everyone was like, yeah, she's good, but can she handle the pros? Well, turns out she's not just handling it, she's dominating.
At all the time, 1 through 12, we've got incredible stories to tell. And I think this spotlight gives us the opportunity to create even more of a platform for every single one of our players. Everyone now understands what we all know and love about the WNBA, how tremendous these players are on the court, but also what great people they are off the court. And I say,
get this, Clark became the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice in the same season. That's not just good, that's changing the game. But here's the crazy part. Her success is forcing the Fever to make some tough calls. Think about it. You've got this superstar rookie who's breaking records left and right. Do you build the entire team around her? Or do you try to keep some of the veteran players who've been the backbone of the franchise? The Fever's trying to have their cake and eat it too, but something's gotta give. Clark's already scored her 10th three-point shot of the season, making her just the 6th woman to do that in her rookie year. She's not just living up to the hype, she's exceeding it. Here's where it gets wild. Clark's success might be pushing out fan favorites. Coaches and analysts are saying her performance has changed the whole dynamic of the team. It's becoming a real challenge to balance keeping veteran players like Kelsey Mitchell with the need to build around Clark's insane potential. You know what this reminds me of? It's like when LeBron James joined the Cavaliers back in 2003. The team had to completely rebuild around his talent, and it changed the entire trajectory of the franchise. But it's not just about what's happening on the court. Since Clark joined the Fever, there's been a huge jump in fan attendance and merchandise sale. People are excited about this team again. It's like Clark brought a whole new energy to Indiana basketball. While fans are buzzing about Clark's on-court magic, the Fever's front office is sweating over a different kind of math. Did you know that in the WNBA, a single player's contract could make or break a team's entire strategy? The Fever's facing a financial puzzle that would make Einstein scratch his head. Here's the deal. The Fever want to keep their stars, but the salary cap is like a noose around their neck, getting tighter every season. It's not just about keeping the best players anymore, it's about keeping the right players at the right price. Every dollar they spend on one player is a dollar they can't spend somewhere else. It's like trying to cram a whole team's worth of talent into a tiny piggy bank. Let's talk numbers for a second. Kelsey Mitchell, one of the Fever's veterans, has been amazing for the team, but her contract? It's getting pricier as she gets older. Then you've got younger players like Lexi Hull who are showing tons of potential. The Fever have to decide, do they keep the proven talent or bet on the future? You see the problem, right? Something's gotta give. But what? Cut Mitchell, and you might save some cash, but you could lose games. Keep her, and you might not have enough money to sign new talent or keep your rising stars. It's like playing Jenga with million-dollar block. One wrong move, and the whole thing could come crashing down. But it gets even trickier. Every decision the Fever make now could impact them for years. Keep too many high-paid players, and they might not be able to sign free agents in the future. Cut too many veterans, and they could lose the experience they need to compete. It's like the Fever are playing chess, but instead of pawns and knights, they're moving around million-dollar contracts. One bad move could leave them in checkmate, stuck with a team that's either too expensive to keep together or too inexperienced to win. You think the Fever's choices only affect them? Think again. Their roster moves are like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripples are about to hit every shore in the WNBA. How many teams are poised to pounce on Indiana's castoffs? And what happens when yesterday's bench warmer becomes tomorrow's MVP on a rival squad? Let's break it down. Every player the Fever cuts is suddenly up for grabs, and you better believe other teams are watching like hawks. It's not just about who Indiana keeps, it's about who they let go. The Golden State Valkyries and Portland Pilots, they're not just interested. They're circling like sharks, ready to snap up any talent the Fever tosses overboard. Imagine you're another coach in the league. You see these players hit the market. What do? It's like Black Friday, but instead of TVs, it's WNBA talent up for grabs. You've got all-stars, rising rookies, and seasoned vets suddenly available. It's enough to make a coach's head spin. Here's the kicker. Some of these players might end up making the Fever regret their decision big time. Remember Nalissa Smith, the one who got cut? Word is, the Valkyries are already blowing up her phone. They're not just making calls, they're ready to roll out the red carpet. This isn't just about Indiana anymore, it's about the whole league. Today, it's the Fever. But tomorrow, it could be your team scrambling to pick up the pieces. One team's trash is another team's treasure, and right now, there's a whole lot of treasure up for grabs. The Valkyries and Pilots aren't just window shopping, they're looking for players who can make an immediate impact. That puts even more pressure on the Fever. Every cut they make could come back to haunt them. Imagine facing off against your former star player in the playoffs. Talk about awkward. This is the kind of move that could change the whole balance of the WNBA. We're not just talking about one season. These decisions could shape the league for years to come. It's like a game of dominoes. The Fever made the first move, and now we're all waiting to see how the rest fall.